Yo, what is going on, guys? It's your boy LOZA. We're here with my Christmas green deck. We managed to top locals with it, so why don't we go through the profile real quick, and then we'll talk about matchups and all that fun stuff. So starting out with the egg. Now, we don't have EX2 here in Australia yet, so unfortunately, I'm stuck playing the old red egg, which is the Demi Mirror, which is just 1,000 when you swing at a player, and then the 4 Kapurimon, and these are just 1,000 as long as you have a Tamer up on your turn. So that's always, which is very nice on your turn. But yeah, just 5 eggs because we're an aggro deck, and if you do need, like if you're versing a grindy matchup like yellow, sometimes you're going to need that 5th egg. Doesn't come up too much, so feel free to just play 4. When we get EX2 in Australia, these are all going to be Digimons that give us the draw, and I think you know why, because this card is absolutely nuts. So we're starting off with 4 Primogeomon, the best rookie in this deck. You want to see it turn 1, you want to put it on that stack and draw a card, and then next turn you're going to swing it in. If the Digimon egg's underneath, you're going to be drawing 2. So just draw 3, by the way, off this one rookie. Absolutely insane, just for advantage, just for aggro, everything. This card is nuts. So yeah, definitely something to look out for. This card's been rising in price ever since the EX2 got announced, and you know, it's still going up today because it's just around the corner for Australia. I know everywhere else already has their EX2, but Australia sucks. Next, we've got my favorite boys. We've got the monkeys. What I love about these guys is you hard play them and you get to search for a hybrid, and that's super good. They're basically a worse Bokomon, but the good part about them is they can go on the stack, and that's going to be important. In an aggro deck like this is basically a rookie rush hybrid deck. Any turn you're not putting a rookie on the stack, like you're losing in my opinion, and that first turn is super essential. Here's our last rookie. That's right, I play 16. We play no mulligan, by the way. There is no mulligan because we're prepping for regionals, which are all no mulligan. So unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I've decided to play hybrid because I find it's the best deck when you don't have mulligans. Blue hybrid's very good as well, but I like red green because it's so aggro. I'm just a very big caveman at heart, so I do love my token aggro deck. So yeah, Monodramon can be super good. It did mess me up a couple of times today just because of the awkward cost you can kind of put yourself in with memory setters and whatnot. But anyway, this card also came in clutch today where I was able to drop 2 of them down when I had 3 memory to choke the opponent at 1 and also, you know, put 2 bodies out. So I don't know, 2 drops are nice. You can definitely not play them. If you weren't playing mulligan, I would highly suggest just play these, or maybe cut down on some of the monkeys for some monos, or you can just play another red rookie in general. I know some people like to play Gaussmon. I used to play Gaussmon. As soon as I got Guilmon, I cut the Gaussmons though, and I haven't looked back. Guilmon is absolutely sensational. So that will do for our red rookies. We're then going to go into our white ones because you know what we're playing. You got to play this, man. If you're playing a hybrid deck, you got to play him. Now, most lists play him at 3, but I'm just maxing out at 4. I find every game you see Boko is a good game, so, you know, no complaints from me. Yeah, you can brick on it. That's definitely happened where I've had 3, but normally it's fine and it normally unbricks itself. Normally. But yeah, feel free to drop that to 2 if you're a little sketchy on the numbers or whatnot. Getting into green hybrid, there's not much to talk about, right? It's kind of the same as yellow hybrid. You got to play everything, and here we are playing everything. We've got the Beetle, we've got the Metal Kabu. Here's the biggest thing I would change, right? I'm not playing any high end because I'm very much rookie rush / hybrid rush, and like Beetle and Metal do a fantastic job at being consistent and suspending blockers or just making piercing checks. Absolutely sensational. Wouldn't change these at all. This is what I would change. Sometimes you really just don't see the green hybrid, and I thought playing 10 would be enough. We played 4 rounds today, so that's a lot of games, right? I opened this in my opening hand, I think 4 games, 1 level 5. I opened it so much, and I wished it was Arbamon every time. So yeah, I either drew into this every game basically, or I just opened it for some reason. It was really awkward, and one thing I would do off the bat, change that just for a third Arbamon. Easy swap out, just you don't need the level 5 in this deck. I thought maybe the 1 to evolve would be useful because, you know, 8k is a higher number, and I did think I'm playing literally 1 Mimi. Maybe it'll come up that I tap that Mimi, promote an egg, and swing for game. But it's normally just better to play a hybrid on there anyway. But, you know, I gave it a shot today, even at 1, and I'm honestly just going to take it out. It sounds really dumb. Sounds like it shouldn't even come up that much, but we've got a lot of one-of techs in this deck later, which we can brick on as well. So bricking on this as well as them was not good. So I just swapped this for an Arbamon. Easy change that I'll probably be making right after this video. All right, let's move on to the Tamers. It's got to be for JP because, you know, it's green hybrid. JP is the superstar of this deck. Everyone gets mad when you digivolve for 1 on this. They're like, why are you digivolving for 1 again? And you have to be like, well, it's what JP does. That's kind of his thing. JP's kind of busted. You know, JP with any of these hybrids is just insane. Digivolving for 1 and then getting effects is nuts. The only time it sucks is when it's this guy, but you know, that happens. Let's get on to the memory setters. I played 1 Mimi, 1 Ken. This should just be a second Ken at this point. Like, I'm not even playing level 5s anymore. As I just said, I'm going to cut that one level 5. I just don't own another Ken. So anyone at locals who has Ken, it's like from the early sets, so no one really has them. Yeah, but hit me up. I really want Ken, ironically. Mimi's like one of the best tamers in the game, and it's just funny that I'm picking Ken over her. But yeah, the effect never comes up for Mimi, but the Ken one can come up, so there's always that option. This was the new tamer I was trying, and honestly, in the past, I've disregarded this tamer, thought it was shit. No, this tamer is great. This tamer is great. I started so many turns on 5 memory, and this deck starting on 5 memory is insane. We basically either win the game with that 5 memory, or we set up so much that we guarantee the game's over next turn, that 5 memory. So yeah, insane. I should have been playing this earlier. I know it's got a second effect where you can do the whole gacha green thing to go into a mega, but you don't care about that. You just want the memory, and you want this to come out of your security, and then your opponent's scared to swing in when you have this, and that's fine too, right? We're playing an aggro deck. If our opponent doesn't hit us, we're like, okay, cool, we're just gonna rush you down quicker. So obviously the opponent can play around this, but I feel like it pressures them to not play around it, if that makes sense. And obviously if they hit your stack and tamers come out, you just benefit so hard. So a lot of this deck is tricking the opponent into thinking you have lethal when you don't, just so they start swinging into you and you get some tamers and then you have lethal. Like so many times my hand is just pure green hybrids or red hybrids with no tamers, and they'll just get scared because I've whittled them down to 1 security, and they'll start chipping at me, and I just get a bunch of tamers and win from there. And I'm like, if they knew my hand, they wouldn't have done that, but you know, they don't know my hand. Izzy Azumi at 2. This is great because you can just slap it down for 2. The effect to suspend it, gain a memory. It doesn't come up that often, to be honest, but think of it as another 2-drop rookie to go along with our boy Monodramon. You pretty much see these guys in the same light, just this one's a little safer. This one can swing the turn after, so you know, they've got their pros and cons. You can just combo Izzy with metal, and every time you tap one of their things with metal, you can tap Izzy, gain the memory if you need it. But yeah, the main thing is it's just a 2-drop tamer. It's cheap and easy to play. It's not quite as good as the 2-drop mat in blue hybrid, but it still does the job of being a 2-drop, and we love to see it. So yeah, definitely recommend if you haven't tried the Izzy and Mimi, please try it. Don't think you need to play it for the second effect. The first effect was honestly enough to win me so many games. And very impressed with that card. It just stacks with the memory tamer so well. All right, we're getting into my spicy techs. I'm very keen to show these off. This one's not so spicy. Pretty standard for people who like to play red hybrid aggro style. Not so much the Ancient Greymon stack building, but more just like a Rookie Rush or Hybrid Rush variant. This card's insane. This card comes out of security, and it says everything you have has +1 next turn. That includes anything that you play with Rush, anything that you evolve on a tamer, anything you promote. So this card is just absolute. I don't know why when people were playing Red Green Hybrid Christmas, they were only playing this at like 3 because they're like, oh, I don't want to brick on it. I'm like, who cares? Let me brick on it. Like, I want to see this every game, and the games where you do see this, it seems a bit unfair. It really shouldn't be 1 memory. Let's just say that. It shouldn't be 1 memory, and its security effect should not do what it does. But it do. So max out on a card if you think it's broken, guys, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Atomic Inferno wins me so many games. Getting the piercing checks, you really want to have it on your JP, right? So the perfect combo is just, it's your turn, you got JP already there, you go Metal Couple Terry for 1, you draw, you suspend something, and you just go Atomic Inferno on this, so 2 memory, and you're checking 2, and you're making a trade with the board. Like, that is value. That is absolute value. So that's what this deck's all about, making value trades. Oh, I just gave away a little bit of the spice. 1 Flower Cannon, which honestly hasn't done anything useful yet. Came out of security today, but against blue hybrid, so, they're just promoting tamers and swinging, and then doing that 1x1, so it literally had nothing to suspend, so bit unfortunate. It's mainly here because sometimes people put up a big blocker like X Antibody and Blackwall Greymon are very common at my locals, which have big blockers, and some people play Mechanorimon, so sometimes you just gotta have the suspend 1. I thought of playing the cheaper options, but this one's just the safest one and the best one in security, I want to say, so I went with this, especially because this suspends all of your opponent's Digimon except blockers, right? What's interesting about that is the Blackwall Greymon inheritable to give blocker is only on our turn, and so is the X Antibody one, so they're actually only blockers on our turn. So I was like, cool, this is just going to tap all their shit anyway, and they're going to be like, oh, but I'm a blocker, and I'm going to be like, no, you're not. It's your turn. So yeah, Flower Cannon's cool. There's definitely like Needle Spray and Samara Santi and some other stuff. But like Samara Santi suspends one of your things, and I didn't want that because I'm going so fast. I could play the hybrid one cost to suspend something, but it does nothing out of security, it just adds to hand, and I'd rather it do something in security. So this was my Saki Flower Cannon one-of, and here's the next lineup of my one-ofs. We've got Crimson Blaze. This card is insane. I should really play more of this. This card is nuts. This card prevents like Masteamon and Imperial Dramon from playing out like all their stuff for free, either from Dragon Mode or Musteamon's Digivolving effect. That's really nice. It also obviously clears the board, so it's fantastic. It can be shit in Armor Rush if they're all armors, but you at least turn them back to Vmon, so it can be alright. But the main thing is this card out of security is fantastic. It's great in the hand too. Clearing board today was okay with it. I don't think it won me any games. Like the clear is nice sometimes. It was just okay today. It played at 1, so I never see it anyway. Well, I want to save that one for last. So we got the Gaia Force at 1. I was considering cutting this just for another Crimson. Makes sense. I'm going to go fast. We don't want to give our opponent 8 memory, but there's games where this just comes out of security and wipes the Imperial Dramon stack or the Pale Dramon stack, and that's just too good. Also, like against X-Antibody, you know, they're very much a black stack deck. I remember I set up a bunch of Tamers, gave him 8, played the Gaia Force, and destroyed his blocker, like with, you know, 1,000 inheritables. He just missed the one that protects it from card effects, and I was like, lol. Because he was playing for the blocker inheritable and stuff to block my stuff instead of playing for everything else, and the warp, the one that lets you, the level 5 that lets you Digivolve for cheaper instead of the one that protects itself. Because I was putting him on a timer, right? I was rushing him down, so he didn't go for the protection. Instead, he went for the other one. Maybe he just didn't have it. And then I just played Gaia Force for 8. Literally put this man to 8, but he didn't have enough resources to build back into a stack with blocker quick enough. So I was able to just win from their next turn. So look, some games you just have to hope they don't have the rest of the line in their hand, or hope they've kind of, you know, brick, and just wipe the stack and pray. And it sounds bad, but sometimes that's just the only win con. And here's my final spicy tech, Gravity Crush. Man, I love this card. People try to memory choke you and be like, oh cool, you can only get one hybrid off like this much memory, and you just go and flop down the Gravity Crush and you say, I gain 2 and lose 2 at the end, and you just win from there. So the gain 2 for them doesn't even matter. I love Gravity Crush. Obviously insecurity has no effect. That's one reason why you just play it at 1. It's a very sacky one of, and if you see it, great. If you don't see it, like, it's not the end of the world. But definitely in this meta, this card's very good, because so many times you're going to swing into Imperial or Armor Rush or Blue Hybrid's security, and you're going to hit Hammer Spark. You're going to hit Ice Wall. It's going to happen. They have potentially 5 copies of a gain 2 in their security. Purple can also have Jack Raid, but it's kind of the same concept. And so sometimes, some games, I even just played this when I had 3 memory, right? And I go hybrid for 1. So even a Hammer Spark would be fine, but I've got to check like 2 or 3 security, right? So I just play the Gravity Crush early and just say, look, if there's a Hammer Spark in there, I'm at least not passing turn to you, and we're going to keep getting these checks going. So yeah, I really dig the Gravity Crush. For sure, you can cut a bunch of these and play just like 4 Crimson Blaze. It's probably way more consistent. I'm very much into like the toolbox style tech options. I know some people hate that because it's very sacky and like, you know, situational, but that's what I like about Digimon. There's always different situations and scenarios in Digimon, and all of these are good in different ones. So, but anyway, guys, that is my green-red hybrid Christmas deck. I hope you did enjoy. It is a bit of a mess, but man, do I love playing these aggro absolute chimpanzee style decks. I'll talk about matchups really quick. So round 1, I was versing Imperial. I managed to open up quite well, and we managed to get the 2-0 there. I can't remember too much what happened. My checks went well, his checks didn't go as well. Blah blah blah. He did have the X-Femon jamming both games, but it just didn't really matter once again. Getting Guillemon on the stack, I believe, in game 2 was very nice. Free draws always good. And then I proceeded to verse Blue Hybrid in round 2, which I got owned by. I actually lost. So you might be thinking how I top locals. Well, it was a very strange locals in which we only had 4 people there. Yeah, 4-man locals. Yeah, so some of y'all are going to say this isn't valid, and that's fine. But everyone playing was playing meta. We had Armor Rush, Blue Hybrid, Imperial, and me playing this. So I'm the least meta, I would say, of everyone. And, you know, that kind of validates me in a way. So anyway, there was a clear winner after round 2, which should have been the Blue Hybrid player, but because of the way we just do things sometimes at locals, we just kept playing. Then I won my next round, which was against Armor Rush. I was just quite faster than him. Having 2 drops is super nice in that matchup. I believe one game I went Guillemon here and Monodramon here on the field. Like, that's such a strong opener because I'm swinging, but I'm also drawing and just getting big advantage. I also sacked Bokomon a lot today, so, you know, we love to see it. This card's insane. And Atomic Blaster came out of my security in the very final. So once again, I'm versing the Blue Hybrid guy in round 4, which is now the final. This managed to flop out of my security in one of his later checks, which just confirmed me the game. I had like 3 bodies on field and I hadn't hybrided off a Tamer yet, and I had about 2 memory. So it was just like pretty much 17 ways to confirm game. So yeah, this card is just so freaking good. I don't know what they were thinking when they printed this. And I'm surprised it's flown under the radar now. Like, my locals knows about this card, but I don't think many other people really do anymore. Like, Christmas is kind of dead. But that green Terriermon tribal, or not tribal, but that green hybrid Terriermon deck coming up looks really nice, so I'm keen to try that. But yeah, if you do play this deck, please try out the Gravity Crush. I find it very useful against the current meta. So many blue decks with memory gain, so if you can just make sure you don't pass that turn when you need to go for lethal, this card is fantastic. And if you don't see it, as I said, it doesn't matter. You just don't even think about it. But anyway, that was it, guys. They were my matchups, so I actually versed all meta stuff and actually got to take the fat victory royale home. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon. Bye!